I think the big scene setter stuff, Congressman McCormick talking about the economic relationship, I think we saw when Prime Minister Modi was first elected, India wanting to rebuild a manufacturing industry, and you saw a lot of protectionism that was brought about, which was challenged pretty aggressively by President Trump last time and again this time. But both of our countries want to be great in semiconductors and autos and so many other areas. How do you find that kind of middle ground where we can both grow together? What does that look like in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's happened to some degree anyways. We've divested from China, and India's picking up the slack in many of the production lines. That whole region is also, Vietnam, Thailand. You're seeing Cambodia trying to step in right now, but also the relationship with China makes that confounded in some ways. But India, I think, has, once again, a unique ability because of their population, 1.47 billion people. I mean,
1.4 billion.
That's crazy. It's the biggest, it's blown by China. China's shrinking, India still is expanding. India's one of only two places in the world that's still expanding as a population. Everybody else, we've reached a plateau in the Earth's population. And you'll see a decline over time, I think, if Africa could ever get a hold of their population. India and Africa are the only two places where we're really expanding by any kind of noticeable. Everybody else is declining dramatically. So whereas the population still matters, talent really matters. And India is supplying a tremendous amount of talent to the entire world, not just in exporting talented people, but also in what they're filling. Look, they just put a spaceship on the dark side of the moon for under $80 million, not billion, $1 million. We can't even build a building to talk about putting a spaceship on the dark side of the moon for that much. They're just becoming extremely, it's kind of like jumping past telephone poles and going straight to cellular. They have some real advantages in the way they're approaching businesses right now. And people should be very, not concerned, but very aware of that so that we can work synergistically. We embrace them as friends, we usher in that peace, that prosperity for the rest of the world. If we alienate them, it's going to be big trouble for all of us. And I mean that sincerely. Big trouble for them too, quite frankly, but we have to lead the way. We are still the world leader. We will set the bar for that relationship. And everything that President Trump or President Biden or anybody else who's going to be president, I hope they put that at the top of their strategic priority list.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I would just expand on what Rich was saying. I was in India in September at a time of pretty high friction, right? The president made some comments about Pakistan. I had invited Pakistani leaders into the Oval Office. I left on a Friday, landed on Saturday, and we were hit with the $100,000 H-1B visa issue, so that took up a lot, 50% tariff. So there was a lot of friction points, but the truth is when you talk to the business community, they're playing the long game here, they get it. Even, my individual conversations with government leaders and so forth, they get it. And look, we're not creating a strategic partnership with Pakistan. You don't see American companies making multi-billion-dollar investments in Pakistan. That's all happening in India. I went to Western Naval Command because we should talk about the Indian Ocean region as well. And that's an important place where we were a little bit slow in the Pacific Islands. In South China Sea, we can't make that same mistake in the Indian Ocean region. India will be critical in keeping the peace, maritime security, freedom of navigation in that region as well. They get it. We're playing the long game. There's some hiccups here, but we'll get through this.
Interesting you mentioned Pakistan too. People don't realize that they have almost 300 million people in their country too, but they don't bring the investment here and vice versa too. So India is not only taking investment, they're also giving investment. And to watch them kind of grow as a nation and actually spread their wings and start to establish themselves as a dominant country in a lot of regions. I think as they develop, you'll see that huge middle class just coming to bear on the world market. I think it's going to be impressive.
Yeah, despite the frictions between the capitals, you still see the high-frequency data on trade and investment still show a real uptick. So, it hasn't yet hit the real world quite as much as you might kind of expect so far in the tension. And hopefully trade agreements and other things happen and we can get back on the upside.